I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Dungeon Meshi Season 1, Episode 10. Last episode, we finally got to meet one of the past crew members.
Adventurers.
Namari. Yeah.
Namari. And I really like her.
Me too. But if anything, it just makes me want to meet Shuro, I think his name was.
Yes.
Who we have learned had a deep love for Fallen and was going to propose to her.
Yeah, okay. I need more of that as like the romantic in the room, and in all the time I'm trying to find romance in everything that we watch.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, wait, there might be romance in Dungeon Meshi?
Yeah.
Okay, give it to me. Please tell me that he is adventuring with this contact that he had in order to try to get to the Red Dragon and save Fallon himself.
We have to see him, right? We have to come across him.
You can't just, like, have the comedy energy of Laios having no freaking clue that this guy had a crush on his sister and not give me more. That's gold.
It's gold. You ready?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I can't wait to hear this OP. It makes me happy. And the little mushroom makes me happy too.
I need to give mushrooms another shot.
I do. We both do. Fun fact, one of the things we have in common is that neither of us like mushrooms.
I haven't given it a fair shot in recent years. Even, I wonder what the best way to prepare it is. Senshi needs to make me
mushrooms. I'm okay if they're from a dungeon.
Yeah.
It's more fun that way.
Do you think Fallen has feelings back to Shuro?
I always like to think that if someone plans on proposing to someone else, they have a good idea that that person would want to say yes. I mean, that's just a hope. But she also could be as oblivious as her brother.
So cool.
More water walk.
I'm so glad that Senshi's come around.
Magic isn't all that bad. What's wrong with these stairs?
Carefully. Ah! What are they?
And we know how he feels about mimics.
Oh my god.
It'd be better if we just somehow are able to, like, fly and jump down there. Why is it shaking?
Whoa!
Can this... No!
That's fucked up! Jesus!
I feel like that's not the only one, though.
No!
Oh, not the staff!
No!
Oh, we're just dropping it down! The lockpick set. Oh, and the axe.
They target weapons? Oh!
That's smart that they target the weapons. They are smart. Get the frog closer to it. Do
they hold the same toxin?
Let's wear it.
Shit.
Make a glove. Nice.
Nice, Chilchuck. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh. But it's helping pull it out.
Nice! Oh no. Okay.
Okay,
cool.
okay, I think we're good.
Nice moves. Oh no. Are they gonna wear flesh suits and just walk down the stairs?
Yeah. Oh, gross. That was really good animation to see the muscles in his arm as he's mixing.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're getting super good. Like wetsuits. Really tight to the body.
Tentacle Noki.
While I was debating which of you to stop.
Good approach.
She's like, of course I would. Senchi's hair is peeking out.
This is ridiculous.
The fact that the eyeballs, they sewed it in so it's like ears, is so cute.
Do you think they'll be accepted as the other frogs?
This is my favorite thing I've ever seen, is that one shot.
Whoa!
The castle town. 5th floor.
This is fucking cool. Oh no.
I think she'll compliment you. I think the first thing out of her mouth will be like, you guys look really cute.
Whoa, Mr. Tansu's going through the paintings too.
Is this the way that they... So is that how we go in and out? Lord of the Island. We know that he was being paid by someone. So he's a part of maintaining it, I guess?
They look like the ones from the intro on the boat, right? Interesting.
An elf? I was about to say, does that mean he's an elf?
The Western elves. Whoa.
Are they coming in the OP?
The spell of immortality.
I'm sure he'd like the sound of that.
Yeah.
So you gotta get to the bottom. We might want to utilize him.
The visualization of them from his perspective.
I wonder if she's checking that she still is alive and within the dragon.
Whoa. Do you think these come to life? We saw one of them in the intro.
You'd feel like there are ghosts around 100%.
I would love to walk through this town. Nice.
Senshi's happy. Bread! Again, bringing us back to the orcs.
I'm sure they see it that way. What? The dragon.
Like they're burnt.
Yeah.
That's burnt flesh. That's the stench.
Wargs.
Wargs. The orcs did say that he was encroaching on their territory. We're close. The more he moves, the more chance that Fallon's... No, but you know who has? Namori.
Nice.
I think the missing piece all along was Senshi. We need the original team, but with Senshi, so that they're fed. That was the issue.
What the fuck? What if you could, like, feed it a sleeping pill? Cool shot.
What if the frog suits also help with fire breath?
Oh no. There's only so much hope can do. That's a good plan. I like the song. Adamant.
Shield.
Ooh.
To have Mr. Tansu wondering how far they'll get on their own. Who's making bread?
You need to be stopped. True, that's what fucked us over the first time.
Exactly.
Deep fried frog meat? Like frog katsu?
But now it's not alcoholic anymore. Chilchuck will be sad.
Oh, that looks so good.
Cutlets to conquer the red dragon.
I'm sure the dragon can smell it too. Oh. Oh my god.
In my head, I was thinking we needed Shuro and Namori. Like, surely. that we need to have time for them to get here or something. I mean, Namori's has a break from working with Mr. Tansu. But
We have a plan, Anna. We have a plan.
Sometimes plans don't work out.
Oh, cool.
Cute.
Let's go! No! Okay, that was Dungeon Meshi Season 1, Episode 10. Great episode. Filled with frog flesh suits, Mr. Tansu, and the Red Dragon.
I would have tried this frog cutlet to defeat the Red Dragon. I would have tried that.
I would have preferred the cutlet to the gnocchi. I've never been a huge fan of gnocchi.
You're not a huge fan of gnocchi, yeah.
No, but I love the parallel thinking in between Senshi and Laios in their own ideas of what to do with these frogs. And I would like to think that they didn't even think it through to the point of, oh, if we're both actively doing something that would distract Marcille enough that she wouldn't be able to stop either of us. I just think they were so enthralled and passionate about these things that they just couldn't be stopped.
While I was debating which of you to stop, you both finished.
Also,
the frog suits.
It makes quite a lot of sense that Chilchuck would be very good at, like, being a seamstress or, like, being able to, you know...
Handy, yeah. I know that, honestly, something that was interesting with Chilchuck's character for this episode is his idea of himself in terms of how useful he really wants to be. And I think that is really cool, especially in tandem with something that we hear from him last episode, which is his reasoning for being on this adventure and this mission, even though he's normally very financially minded, like Namori is, and that this was this passed a boundary, this passed a line for him, that it was past the idea of money for him with what was happening with Fallon, that this is something that he had to do.
Yeah.
And in this episode, we've seen him be useful to us, but never once has it been a part of the conversation of the fact that he can't actually be upfront in a battle, and that in a battle, technically, he isn't even helpful. Like, he can't heal, he can't do magic remotely, and he can't directly attack. He's literally there to get you to where you're trying to get to and help you get the treasure. And that wasn't really in my mind until this episode. Because this whole time I'm like, wow, okay, well, we have a good chunk of people that'll fight. But really, this episode really spells it out for us of, like, how many people we really have to fight.
And how many we don't have.
And we've seen Chilchuck even try to be resourceful himself in this episode with, yes, it's dealing with traps, but it's also still... I would say putting himself more in the idea of fighting, utilizing traps that are within instead of dismantling traps for the sake of the group progressing further in the dungeon, he's utilizing the traps in order to fight the frog.
It not only was insanely creative, but it was such a risk. Like, he had the idea, asked Laios so that he hoped he could further his plan. Laios had no fucking idea what was going on. So Chilchuck just took it upon himself to take the risk of it. And I love that for him.
It really fits Laios that he would be the type of person that has a bunch of fun facts that are unprompted and unasked for. And as soon as you're like, ooh, this handy little weird tidbit of information, hey, Laios, what is it? It's trivia night. And he's like, he would suck at trivia night. Like, you would invite him to trivia night thinking that you're gonna win. And you would not, because unless it's like a monster food trivia night, you're gonna lose.
Yeah. Like he can understand, or he reads and retains the information like, oh, this is or is not poisonous, because that's all that I need for my own motives. He wouldn't go the extra step of, why wouldn't, like, it react the same way to this? Like, it doesn't...
Right, he knows if it's edible or not.
Yeah.
And if eating it, you need to do something so that it's not poisonous. Right, that's, like, the farthest of his research and memory retention has gone.
So, do you think that we get Namari looking for Fallon's corpse just to show us the care that she has for her, and she hasn't forgotten her and is just doing her due diligence to double check now if the corpse retrievers or anything would have gotten her? Or do you think that it is set up to put the idea in our minds of her somehow coming back?
So there's a couple things here. I think what Namori gets here is, so something that could drive her, especially with that conversation, we already talked about it with Chilchuk, that idea of like, this was past a point of like money, it didn't matter because this was someone's life on the line. She might have been convincing herself, like, if you work in a dungeon and there's such things as corpse retrievers and resurrection, you might be able to convince yourself that this isn't your job and that you don't need to be doing this because someone else will do it. And I think with her realizing that Fallon is still alive in that dragon and still maybe able to be saved is something that it could drive her to do something, because it could go against something that she's been convincing herself of. But what it also does is it tells her that, you know, maybe if she found Fallon here, she'd be able to save Laios and his group from possibly getting hurt. Like, she could somehow find them and tell them, like, no, Fallon's okay, in order to protect them, you know, let them know that Fallon is able to be, I'm going to guess, bought from the resurrection office. Like, seeing this side of things, this above ground side of things, for what I imagine is the corpse retriever's business.
So cool.
But it's also so messed up feeling. This idea that you go underground in this, like, church temple and you have to basically buy your loved ones. Because now that we know from Mr. Tansu specifically, this idea of the body being, the soul still being completely tied to the body if it dies in that dungeon, they basically just have all of these bodies. And the only way you get resurrected is if someone pays for you to get resurrected.
Firstly, we didn't necessarily get language about there being a monetary transfer to get a corpse. I'm not saying that isn't the case, but
this guy looks seedy.
At the resurrection office, when we're having this conversation, I think it's so fascinating because the whole idea of it breeds corruption. Of the idea, what are you looking for? An item or a person?
Because they also steal things off of the bodies,
like,
you know?
If you lost a truly valuable item, how much trust do you have that it would actually be here, or rather than one of the corpse retrievers just taking it themselves?
But now we have the idea that the corpse retrievers they could get more bang for their buck if they take it themselves and pawn it. Imagine the money you'd get if you were holding it over on someone else. Like, you wanted this, how much will you pay for it? You know, they get way more money for doing that than just taking it and pocketing it themselves. Except for, like, petty, like, literal actual cash or coins, you know, that they could just use at market value. Something like a treasure item that they could maybe get more for because someone really desired it.
Do we think that the elves that we see in the conversation between Mr. Tansu and the Lord of the Island are the same elves from the intro?
Yes.
You do?
They're on a boat. And we have this idea that these elves specifically are these Western elves. This guy is a lord of an island. There is feelings that would evoke the idea of a boat ride would be had to get to the lord of the island. He is like, what do I report to them? Which gives me the idea that these elves will be coming to check in with him soon and have a meeting with him soon, which could be what we're seeing. Is they want to claim this dungeon again, and we get these green cloaks of seemingly mostly blonde individuals or light-colored individuals, like light-colored hair individuals on a boat in the green cloaks. I'm feeling like they're going to the island. We
also get a depiction of them where one of them has tattoos, and those tattoos look pretty similar to one of them on the boat as well.
Yeah, let's bring this. Yeah.
Somewhat.
Now that I'm looking at it, look at the ears.
Yeah.
These are all elves.
Well, yeah, but...
And they're on a boat.
But they look a little different from the depiction. Not, they probably are, because I think it was just to give us the general idea of the Western elves. Like, that was all that was meant to convey in the conversation with Mr. Tansu. But having them in the intro and then furthering the conversation on. You can go one of two ways with it. One, they're already on their way, or it's just put there to like put like a rush on what this new idea or mission is that we need to do.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that because I feel like Mr. Tansu, he has a heavy motivation here that I think is kind of spelled out within the previous episode. Yes, he is the one getting paid to do this, but we saw him have a heavy disdain for elves in the previous episode, that being the race that he would put down mostly. And I feel like his motivation here personally is obviously not for the sake of financial gain of getting to continue his scholarly duties. It might be to some extent, but I think that is scholarly duties and learning things, but learning things before the elves do as being like the primary kind of goal is that we want to get this knowledge.
That spell of immortality that was cast on the dungeon.
Before the elves do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The magic that ties the soul to the body. When the mystery is solved, it will be worth a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. Are you suggesting we copy every single magic circle? Don't we get the line of dialogue? There's always a blueprint, and it comes down to finding the person who casts the spell.
Yep, the lunatic magician. And then I feel like I got there before the line of dialogue solidified it.
Yeah.
That no one knows what the lunatic magician actually looks like or even what race he actually was or she was. And so here we're having speculation that because of what we're finding in our adventures and missions is elvish writing, and we know that the elves had given, I would say, granted this land to the humans.
Yeah.
And the use of the dungeon, that it would make sense that the magician at the bottom, especially if we're using Marcille as a parallel of wanting to build her own dungeon that is, could help people and cultivate it with safe monsters to create food source and things like that.
Coming face to face with him, the Lord of the Dungeon, that doesn't necessarily guarantee a blueprint, you know?
Right.
Why would somebody with such a 1 in a million spell readily share that information for one?
So I think that something else that's interesting with that question that you're asking that we bring up in this episode is we bring up the orcs again.
Yeah.
And when we first met the orcs, we're talking about what the myth is for the person that gets down to the bottom of the dungeon and defeats the magician, that they basically become a king of the dungeon. You would think that that would then entail that once you get down there and defeat the magician, that you would be able to have all the knowledge of the dungeon.
True.
Therefore, the knowledge of its creation, everything involved. And I think that that's another reason maybe why the orcs, other than the red dragon, another reason why we get the bread again, which reminds us of the meal we shared with the orcs. And we get Tansu even reflecting about Laios and his group and wondering how far they could get specifically.
Yeah.
It leads me to think that we're getting all of this information to lead us, the viewer, to think that, yes, that is where the blueprint, the secrets are at the end, with the lunatic magician.
Yeah.
But stories can always have twists, and that might be our current thought process. But if that ends up actually being the case, or if it's a complete twist, that's up in the air.
I still hold on to the idea that, the theory that there's a chance that one elf with purple eyes that we got in the living painting is somehow connected
Either
to this.
The magician.
Yeah.
Or I think at the time that we watched those episodes, I was like, this is a person that got stuck in a living painting and got way too attached to the people within it. Because it's been stuck here this whole time. But by how crazy it seems like this elf character got after the death of the king.
Yeah.
You could see that this person, and come on, they're even in the OP. At least not even you don't see the head, but
if
There's lore here. These are
if
the
there
paintings
was
within this
if
castle.
there was somebody like a king who was so important to you and they died from whoever, that could push you to creating a spell that would make it so nobody else could die.
Immortality.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this castle is basically, the 5th floor is the castle town. It's basically encasing your home and the people within it and trapping them so that they can never truly leave their bodies. Like their souls will never actually leave their bodies. You can continue to resurrect them. Why is there not the people still here, still alive? Good question.
It's also fascinating that, like, there seemed to be one elf, at least within those living paintings back there, before the dungeon was created, but it was the elves' territory once they came across the dungeon. Mm-hmm. Like, how much time has actually passed is interesting.
Of when the king of the elves granted the land to the humans to begin with.
Yeah.
That was maybe even, that king might have been the origin. That king might have been the one that had the connection with the king of the elves.
The implication, I thought, was that the dungeon was already there and discovered, and when the elves gave it to them.
True.
So, like, before then, even, I'm like, how much time had passed is an interesting question. But also, like, we're in episode 10. I don't know how many episodes are in this season.
That is worrisome.
If we can save Fallon, would it be saving her, going back to the surface, having a talk with Mr. Tansu, he hires us on for this mission, and then that's the next, plot point?
I think that when we first started this show, we were really wondering what the exact goal was and the extent of what the story and the narrative was trying to tell. Mm-hmm. And we did talk about this idea that, like, why would you give such heavy lore? And then after the orc episode specifically, I think we were both feeling very strong about the fact that it seems like there is more that is supposed to be happening or talked about in this plot and in this story. And Fallon and saving from the Red Dragon and just getting to the 5th floor is a stepstone.
Yeah.
And I feel like this episode drives that home because we have Mr. Tansu opening the world up, opening the lore up more, but also, again, reflecting about Laios and his group in the idea of, could these people get further?
Yeah.
And it really does make me think that we might, if this is a season that is 12 episodes long, then we defeat the Red Dragon and we save Fallon by the end of this season. And then the next season of the show would be to see how much further we could get from there.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's what I'm hoping for, at least. Can we, before we exit this discussion, I want to bring up my favorite still in this entire show so far. 7 minutes, 43 seconds.
Okay.
I just want to look at it again. I want to put it on the screen. I want everyone to, like, enjoy it for the glory and beauty that it is.
It's while they're eating the gnocchi,
yes, okay,
right?
Okay,
yeah.
Pause. This is the best thing, that it gives me adventure time. Does it give you adventure? I adore, like, this whole, I love that Chilchucks is smaller, so he doesn't even get the little eyes, the little ears that were frog eyes. He gets, like, just, like, tied at the top like a little weenie. This is the cutest thing that I have ever seen, and I absolutely adore it.
I just imagine, like, I don't know, it gives me Among Us too much, but
Adventure Time, Among Us.
That's fair.
I get it.
All right, that's all I have you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We hope to see you next time.